Hi, friends. Today we are reading a book called Duck and Goose, Honk, Quack, Boo, and it's written by Tad Hills. Tad Hills writes a lot of books with Duck and Goose as their characters, and he also uses another character called Rocket. And so you'll have to look up some Tad Hills books at your local library. So it's Halloween, and Duck and Goose are ready for a fun-filled, adventurous night. And you can see Goose is a brave superhero and Duck is a spooky ghost. They have another friend, a little bird named Thistle. And Thistle's costume, well, that's a secret. Let's see what kind of adventures they get into. Duck and Goose, Honk, Quack, Boo, written by Tad Hills. Duck and Goose sat watching as day slowly became evening. Can you tell what season it is? Is it spring? Is it fall? Is it winter? Summer? It's starting to be fall. The leaves look a little bare on the trees. So, Goose, what are you going to be tomorrow? Goose hesitated. Be? Tomorrow? Well, I think I'll be myself, Duck. It's important to be yourself. Well, very true, Goose, except for tomorrow. Tomorrow is Halloween. It's the day not to be yourself. Suddenly, out of nowhere, Thistle appeared. Did somebody say Halloween? I love Halloween. I'm not telling what my costume is. It is a secret, she quacked. As she sped off into the shadows, she yelled, "See you tomorrow and beware of the swamp monster." Goose gulped. Swamp monster? Why would she say beware of the swamp monster? Maybe the swamp monster comes out on Halloween, Duck quacked. Duck, I am not a fan of swamp monsters. I don't like monsters either, Goose, but I do like trick-or-treating. Later that night, Goose tried not to think about the swamp monsters. A shiver ran up his spine as he watched the clouds creep across the moon like ghosts. His beak quacked as he listened to the groaning wind rattle the branches. Duck closed his eyes and he thought of a bag full of treats. If you thought that there would be a swamp monster on Halloween looking for you, would you be scared? You might feel the same way that they feel. Let's see what happened. The next day was Halloween. Duck got ready to go trick-or-treating. So did Goose. Meanwhile, Thistle was getting ready too. Have you figured out what do you think Thistle's costume is going to be? Any thoughts? Yeah, there's you can pretty much tell. We've got a superhero and a ghost. But Thistle, we're still thinking about Thistle. While Goose waited for Duck, he spotted a scary ghost coming toward him. Hello, Goose, the ghost called. Are you ready to go trick-or-treating? Who are you? Goose honked. It's me, Duck. You look more like a ghost to me, Goose honked. How do I know you're not a ghost? I'm not really a ghost, Duck quacked. Look at my feet. Goose had to admit no one had feet like Duck. I recognize those feet anywhere, he honked. Then let's go. Do you think we're going to see a swamp monster tonight? Goose asked nervously. I hope not, Duck quacked. I hope we see lots of treats. When they reached the edge of the forest, trick-or-treating had already begun. Goose sighed with relief. No monsters in sight. See, look, all their friends. They're all trick-or-treating. Looks like maybe they'll all go together. Oh, who do you see in the tree? It's a little squirrel. She's passing out candy from a little bucket. Hello down there, called Squirrel. I see a spooky ghost and a brave superhero. Well, actually, these are our costumes. We are Duck and Goose, honked Goose. Trick or treat, quacked Duck. Excuse me, said a friendly Daisy. Did you say you are Duck and Goose? I just met a swamp monster who is looking for you. Goose froze. A swamp monster? He asked. Duck, why would a swamp monster be looking for us? I don't know, Goose, and I don't want to know. What should they do? The swamp monster is looking for them. I wonder what they're going to do. Looks like they continue to trick or treat. Look who's out there. Oh, there's the swamp monster now, said the friendly Daisy. And it's heading this way. Duck and Goose turned and saw the scariest, slimiest, most hideous swamp monster ever. It's after us! Run, Duck, run! Cried Goose. Duck and Goose took cover. They huddled together until they were as quiet as they could be. They heard thump, thump, thump of the swamp monster's footsteps getting closer and closer and closer. Oh, Duck, Goose groaned. We're goners. And then the footsteps suddenly stopped. Duck, Goose, is that you? The swamp monster called. Suddenly, Goose remembered his cape and the G on his chest. Duck, I am a brave superhero, and you are the spookiest ghost I've ever seen. And there are two of us and only one swamp monster. Goose whispered, we can scare it away. You think they're going to be able to scare it? Does it look really scary? It must look like that to Duck and Goose. And with that, the brave superhero and the spooky ghost leaped out from behind the leafy bush. Goose honked his bravest honk, and Duck quacked his scariest quack. Boo! They hollered together. Did they scare the swamp monster? What do you think? Look at the swamp monster. Yikes! You sure scared me, the swamp monster quacked. I've been looking everywhere for you. Thistle? Goose honked. Is that you? Duck quacked. How do you like my costume? Thistle asked. I told you to be scared of the swamp monster. Pretty scary, aren't I? I've seen scarier, Duck quacked. We don't scare too easily, said Goose. Were they scared? They sure were. They told Thistle she didn't scare them, but I think they were scared. Well, that's good, because it's time to go trick-or-treating, Thistle quacked. And so the ghost and the brave superhero and the scariest, slimiest, most hideous swamp monster wandered into the forest, filling their bags with Halloween treats. Later, back in the meadow, Duck and Goose sorted through their treats in the light of the moon, and they shared Halloween stories about a masked superhero, a spooky ghost, and a swamp monster who really wasn't that scary after all. Duck and Goose, Honk, Quack, Boo was such a fun story. They had to really show some bravery there when they found the swamp monster. But then the swamp monster wasn't really who they thought it was. It wasn't so scary after all. I hope you enjoyed this story with us today.